The Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine, could open its jaw to an astonishing 120 degrees, a feature of a highly specialized predator. It looked like a wolf, wore tiger stripes, and raised its young in a pouch like a kangaroo. This evolutionary paradox defied easy classification. The last known thylacine, Benjamin, died in a Tasmanian zoo in 1936, seemingly ending the story. But extinction is rarely simple. Genetics, disease, habitat loss, and human pressure all played roles in the thylacine's demise. Now, artificial intelligence is helping us unravel this mystery, analyzing old records, climate data, and genetics to reconstruct the thylacine's final decades. AI can simulate Tasmania's ecosystem, testing which factors truly doomed the species. Was it the bounty hunter's rifles, or was the thylacine already too weak to survive? By building digital models, we can see how different pressures combine to push the species over the edge. This isn't about blame, it's about understanding extinction, so we don't repeat the same mistakes. The thylacine story is a warning, and AI is finally helping us read it. The thylacine's extinction is a classic island tragedy, evolutionary novelty, but extreme vulnerability. Cut off from mainland Australia, the thylacine survived in Tasmania until European settlers arrived. Today, scientists use AI to build a digital Tasmania, feeding it every scrap of data, bounty records, genetic samples, climate history, and old news reports. The AI reconstructs the thylacine's population, revealing invisible forces at play. Was the population already genetically weak before Europeans arrived? AI simulations suggest low genetic diversity made the species vulnerable to disease and environmental change. The extinction wasn't just about hunting, it was a complex medical drama. AI untangles the web. How much did habitat loss matter? Did disease play a role? By running scenarios, removing hunting, adding disease, changing habitat, the AI weighs each factor's impact. The result, extinction was a multi-layered tragedy, not a single act. This digital detective work reveals the true complexity behind the thylacine's disappearance. It's not just about what happened, but how and why it unfolded. The lessons go far beyond Tasmania. To understand the thylacine's fate, we must know what it was. Thylacinus cynocephalus, pouched dog with a wolf head, was a marvel of convergent evolution. It looked like a wolf but was a marsupial, more closely related to numbats and Tasmanian devils. Its stripes camouflaged it in the forests and grasslands, earning the nickname Tasmanian Tiger. The thylacine hunted at dawn and dusk, ambushing wallabies, kangaroos, and birds. It was mostly solitary, unlike pack-hunting wolves, making it more vulnerable. Its slow marsupial reproduction meant population growth was sluggish. Every loss, especially of breeding females, was a major blow. The thylacine's unique biology, solitary, slow to reproduce, left it ill-equipped to recover from rapid decline. Its evolutionary strengths became fatal weaknesses in a changing world. The puzzle of its extinction starts with its own biology. If AI assessed the thylacine's survival odds, it would flag three vulnerabilities. First, its specialized diet, mainly wallabies, meant it was efficient in a stable ecosystem, but fragile when prey declined. Second, its slow breeding cycle made population recovery nearly impossible after losses. Third, its lack of fear toward humans, a common island trait, made it easy prey for settlers. When Europeans cleared land and hunted thylacines, these weaknesses compounded. AI models show that even moderate pressure, loss of food, slow reproduction, or direct killing could trigger a population collapse. The thylacine was perfectly adapted to its ancient world, but dangerously vulnerable to change. Its extinction was not just possible, it was, in hindsight, almost inevitable. The lesson specialization and naivete can be fatal in a rapidly changing environment. The thylacine's biology was its greatest strength and its undoing. AI helps us see how fragile survival can be. The warning lights were there all along. European settlers in Tasmania saw wilderness to conquer, not an ecosystem to respect. Forests were cleared for sheep and cattle, fragmenting the thylacine's habitat. The thylacine was blamed for sheep kills, though evidence suggests feral dogs were more to blame. Perception became reality. The thylacine was branded a pest and hunted relentlessly. Traps, poison, and rifles decimated the already fragile population. The solitary, slow-breeding thylacine stood no chance against organized human effort. The campaign was systematic extermination, not a fair contest. Ironically, removing the thylacine destabilized the ecosystem it once balanced. Settlers thought they were solving a problem, but they were unraveling Tasmania's ecological fabric. The thylacine's voice was silenced, and the island's balance was lost. The cost of misunderstanding nature was extinction. The government bounty of 1888 turned thylacine hunting into a business. £1 for every adult, 10 shillings for every pup, enough to create a class of professional hunters. Bounty records, now digitized, map the population's collapse in chilling detail. Early on, thylacines were easy to find. Soon, hunters had to search the wildest corners. The AI model shows the bounty system as a relentless drain, killing outpaced birth, and the population never recovered. The government bounty ended in 1909, not out of mercy, but because thylacines were too rare to find. Over 2,100 bounties were paid, but the true toll was far higher. The last wild thylacine was shot in 1930. The silence that followed was the sound of a completed task. The extinction was systematic, efficient and final. The lesson policy can drive extinction as surely as any predator. The thylacine's fate was sealed by human hands. What if history had taken a different turn? AI lets us run these what-if scenarios. Suppose the government bounty was never implemented. Instead, farmers were compensated for livestock losses, and a reserve was created. The AI model shows the thylacine population would have declined, but much more slowly. Survival into the mid-20th century was possible. Another missed chance. A captive breeding program in the early 1900s. If just a few pairs had been protected, a slow recovery might have been possible. These simulations show extinction is a process, not a single event. A series of missed opportunities. The thylacine's fate was sealed by decades of poor decisions. Not one moment. If warnings had been heeded, the outcome could have changed. The lesson: conservation must be proactive, not reactive. AI reveals the turning points where action could have made all the difference. The thylacine story is a call to act before it's too late. Today, the thylacine survives as a ghost, on film in museums and now as digital data. Some scientists dream of de-extinction using gene editing to resurrect the thylacine from preserved DNA. The genome has been sequenced and the technology is advancing. Imagine a living thylacine in Tasmania, a symbol of scientific redemption. But AI warns us, the world the thylacine knew is gone. The forests, prey, and diseases have changed. Reintroduction would be a risky experiment. Is it right to bring back a species for a world that may not suit it? Many argue resources are better spent saving species on the brink today. The thylacine's most powerful role may be as a lesson, a reminder of extinction's finality. The thylacine's story, re-examined through AI, is a parable for our time. It shows how a unique species can be undone by human activity and its own limitations. The thylacine was perfectly adapted until its world changed too fast. AI helps us understand extinction so we can prevent it elsewhere. The same forces, habitat loss, persecution, disease, threaten species today. By modeling the thylacine's decline, we can identify and protect vulnerable species now. The real tribute to the thylacine is to protect the biodiversity that remains. Let its story fuel curiosity and action. This was not just an animal, but a world of evolutionary possibility. Its extinction left a silence in the forest, a ghost in our memory. The question now, what kind of world do we want, and what will we do to protect it?